Hello students, my name is Lakshmi Thapre and I am a teacher of chemistry. Today we will be starting a very basic chapter of organic chemistry, that is hydrocarbons. Now this chapter is a part of 11th standard Maharashtra State Board syllabus. It is actually a combination of 4 different parts. It includes alkanes, study of alkanes, alkenes, alkynes and aromatic compounds. Now this is the only chapter of organic chemistry in the 11th standard syllabus. Even though there is a small introductory part of organic chemistry in a chapter called as Basic Principles and Techniques of Organic Chemistry. Yes, this is the major and the only chapter of organic chemistry in your 11th standard syllabus. Now based on this only chapter in 11th standard, they have set up other important chapters in your 12th standard. For example, halogen derivative of alkenes, aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acids, alcohols, phenols and ethers, nitrogen containing compounds. Okay, and also the chapter called as polymers also includes some organic compounds as monomers. Yes, so this organic chemistry part is only restricted to this chapter in 11th standard. But it is very important to study this chapter. Why? Because only based on this chapter you will be able to study the other chapters of 12th standard. Yes, and this being the basic chapter, if you don't study this, if you don't focus on this chapter, you will not be able to get any concepts of the remaining chapters clear. Yes, so let us get started with this chapter. And my dear 12th standard students, you can take this up as a revision and build your basics and then go to your 12th standard topics. Yes, so let us begin with hydrocarbons. The name of the chapter is hydrocarbons, but we are going to begin with the very basic word of chemistry that is frequently used in chemistry, that is matter. What is matter? Matter is defined as anything that occupies space and that has mass. Anything that occupies space and has mass is called as matter. Okay, or in some books you will find that the definition is as anything that occupies space, that has mass and that can be perceived through our senses is called as matter. This matter, for example, let me take a few examples of matter. Can you call water as matter? Yes, I can call water as matter. I can call air as matter because I can feel air. Air occupies space, air has mass. Yes. Pen that I am writing with is matter. Your book is matter. You yourself is some form of matter. Yes. So all these are examples of matter. Okay. Now let me take water as an example. All of us know that the formula of water, molecular formula of water is H2. Now one molecule of water, one water molecule contains 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. One molecule of water is made up of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Okay, so when I'm being that precise, I'm talking about the atoms that are present in water molecule. I'm actually talking about what this molecule of water, what this form of form of matter is composed of. So I'm actually talking about the composition of matter. I'm talking about the composition of matter. Now, second and a very important thing, I very well know different properties of water, like boiling point of water. is 100 degrees Celsius. Water is colorless. Water is odorless. Yes. So when I'm talking about all these things, I'm actually discussing the properties of matter. Okay. And in some of the chapters, like in nature of chemical bonding, wherein we'll be studying covalent bond formation in different molecules, we will very well study that water molecule. If you talk about the shape of the molecule, water has a V shape. Water has a V shape. So when I'm talking about the shape of the molecule, I'm actually talking about the structure. I'm actually talking about the, this is Rm, I'm actually talking about the structure of this form of matter. Yes. So when I'm discussing composition, properties and structure of matter, all these three areas of matter is what is getting covered in a branch of science which is called as chemistry. So what is chemistry? Chemistry is the study of composition, properties and structure of matter. Chemistry is the study of composition, properties and structure of matter. And also we carry out different kinds of reactions in chemistry. Now these reactions indicate nothing but interconversion of one form of matter to other. Okay, so chemistry involves study of composition, properties and structure of matter, and also interconversion of one form of matter to another. So this becomes the definition of chemistry. Study of composition, properties and structure. You can remember it as CPS. Study of CPS of matter and also interconversion of one form of matter to another. Okay. Now let us quickly study the different branches of chemistry. Chemistry is a vast subject. It has got several different branches. Okay. But there are 4 basic branches of chemistry. 4 basic branches of chemistry. The entire subject of chemistry is divided into 4 basic branches. Number 1 is organic chemistry. Now, organic chemistry is the branch of chemistry which deals with the study of carbon and its compounds. CPDS stands for compounds. Okay, carbon and its compounds. Second branch, that is inorganic chemistry, deals with the study of other elements other than carbon and its compounds. There are other elements that are all the elements of the periodic table. Okay, so it deals with the study of different metals, non-metals and all other elements of periodic table. All other elements other than carbon and their compounds. Okay. Third branch, which is a very important branch of chemistry, that is physical chemistry. In physical chemistry, we'll deal mainly with laws, okay, atoms, nuclei, yes, electrons, charges, everything. So this is somewhat related to physics as well. So this is physical chemistry. The fourth and the very important branch is analytical chemistry. So in earlier days, there were basically only 3 branches of chemistry: organic, inorganic, and physical. And in physical chemistry only, we used to include analysis part, that is detection of a particular ion, detection of a particular group, yes, composition, detecting composition of a particular element in a compound. All this used to be carried out in physical chemistry. Nowadays, a separate branch of chemistry has been made to deal with analysis, and that branch of chemistry is called as analytical chemistry. That branch of chemistry is called as analytical chemistry. Yes, so this is a basic introduction to chemistry, wherein we have arrived very close to hydrocarbons. We have stepped into organic chemistry with this introduction. Okay, so in the next slide, we will focus more on organic chemistry, but the other 3 branches of chemistry are also equally important. Yes, there are several chapters in your syllabus which are based on inorganic chemistry, physical chemistry, analytical chemistry, and also organic chemistry. So the combination of all these 4 branches will be seen in the entire syllabus. Yes, okay. Now going quickly forward to organic chemistry and our chapter hydrocarbons. Organic chemistry, as we have already learned, it is a branch of chemistry which deals with the study of carbon and its compounds. Now when I am saying carbon and its compounds, these are the compounds that are studied in organic chemistry, and they are called as organic compounds. They are called as organic compounds, or they are also called as hydrocarbons. Now why are they called as hydrocarbons? Because in organic compounds, other than carbon, the major component is hydrogen. Other than carbon, the major component in hydrocarbons is hydrogen. Okay, so these two are the major components. Of the compounds which are studied in organic chemistry, and hence they are called as hydrocarbons. Okay, so what are hydrocarbons? How will you define hydrocarbons or organic compounds? Hydrocarbons are basically the compounds which contain or which are made up of hydrogen and carbon as their main components. Components means elements. Components here means elements. So compounds which contain hydrogen and carbon as their main elements are called hydrocarbons. Okay. Now does that mean that hydrocarbons only contain hydrogen and carbon? No. Other than hydrogen and carbon, hydrocarbons, the word is also abbreviated as HC. Hydrocarbons also contain elements like sulfur, oxygen, phosphorus, nitrogen, and halogen. X is the symbol which is used to indicate halogens. Halogens are group 17 elements, and halogens can be fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Okay. So other than hydrogen and carbon, hydrocarbons also contain sulfur, oxygen, phosphorus, nitrogen and halogens. Okay, now all these elements which are also present in hydrocarbons are called as heteroatoms. Heteroatoms, they are guest atoms. The main atoms, the main elements are carbon and hydrogen. Okay, other than that, whatever elements are present in hydrocarbons are called as heteroatoms. Yes, so these are the heteroatoms. How will you remember these heteroatoms? You can remember them by the word SHOP NX. I have put hydrogen in bracket because hydrogen is already the major component. Okay, the other elements are sulfur, oxygen, phosphorus, nitrogen and halogens, which are not put in the bracket. Okay, yes, so you can remember these heteroatoms by the word SHOP NX. SHOP NX, sulfur, oxygen, phosphorus, nitrogen and halogens. These are the heteroatoms which are present in hydrocarbons. Yes, so hydrocarbons in short are made up of hydrogen and carbon as the major elements. Other than that, they also contain some heteroatoms which are sulfur, oxygen, phosphorus, nitrogen and halogens. Is this thing clear? Yes, so far so good. Okay, let us go to the further important part of hydrocarbons, and that is classification of hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are large in number. Hydrocarbons are large in number. In hydrocarbons, you will see chain of carbon atoms bonded to each other. Now, what is a particular property that carbon has because of which it can bind with each other? It can bind with itself. It has that self-linking property. That property of carbon is called as catenation. We will very well come to that property. Okay, in the next part of the chapter, I'll go with the basic electronic configuration of carbon and then move ahead with alkenes. Okay, so you don't worry about it. So the basic property of carbon, that is catenation, which helps carbon in forming large number of compounds. Large number of compounds in which you will find carbon bonded to itself. That is self-linking of carbon will happen. Yes, carbon forming bond with itself. That property of carbon is called as catenation. So due to catenation, carbon can form large number of compounds. And in hydrocarbons, you will find covalent bond between the atoms. Covalent bond between the atoms. So all these hydrocarbons are covalently bonded compounds. They are covalently bonded compounds. Now, how is this covalent bond formed? It is formed by sharing of electrons. We have learned this in 10th standard. It is formed by sharing of electrons. Okay. So let us quickly go to the classification. We need to classify this large number of compounds so that it becomes easy for us to study them. Okay. Hydrocarbons or organic compounds are broadly classified into two categories. The first category is open chain compounds. And the second category is closed chain compounds. Open chain compounds are also called as aliphatic compounds, or they are also called as acyclic compounds. Acyclic or non-cyclic. I'll tell you what cyclic means here. Closed chain compounds are also called as alicyclic compounds or simply cyclic compounds. Now, open chain compounds. Open chain compounds mean where the carbon atoms are bonded to each other like this in the form of an open chain. Open chain. And closed chain means where the carbon atoms are bonded to each other but the chain here is enclosed. The chain is enclosed. The chain was open like this in the first case, and now it has been enclosed like this. Okay, so this is a chain of carbon atoms only, but it is enclosed now. Yes. So this is what is called as the enclosed chain of carbon atoms are called as cyclic compounds. What are they called? Cycle. It is called as a cycle. Cycle doesn't mean that it has to be circular. Okay, the chain is complete. The chain is connected. It is enclosed. Okay. Yes, and here the chain is open. These are the two open ends of the chain. Here the chain is closed. In this example, the chain is closed. Yes. So this is the first broad classification of hydrocarbons: open chain compounds or aliphatic compounds or acyclic compounds. And the second category is closed chain compounds, alicyclic or cyclic compounds. Yes. Now this aliphatic compounds are further classified into two categories: saturated compounds and unsaturated compounds. Saturated compounds are the ones where you'll find carbon-carbon single bond throughout the compound. Carbon-carbon single bond throughout the compound. And unsaturated compounds are the ones, unsaturated hydrocarbons are the ones where you'll either find carbon-carbon double bond or carbon-carbon triple bond in the compound. So you should at least figure out at least one carbon-carbon double bond or one carbon-carbon triple bond. Then the compounds are called as unsaturated. These saturated hydrocarbons are the ones which are called as alkanes. And the unsaturated ones which contain at least one carbon-carbon double bond are called as alkenes. And the ones which contain at least one carbon-carbon triple bond are called as alkynes. Yes, I'll write a simple example here showing all the 4 bonds of carbon. Carbon has to form 4 bonds around it to satisfy its valency. So this is an example of alkane wherein you will find only a single bond between carbon atoms. Obviously, every carbon atom will form a single bond with each hydrogen atom. That doesn't matter. It has to form a single bond with its neighboring carbon atoms. With all the carbon atoms, it has to form single bond. Okay. So, as in this example, there is a single bond between all the carbon atoms. Yes. So, this belongs to the category of alkenes. Okay. Now, what are alkenes? Alkenes के लिए example है this is an example of alkenes wherein there is a single bond between carbon atoms here, but there is at least one carbon-carbon double bond in the compound. Okay, in the compound. So alkenes are those unsaturated aliphatic hydrocarbons containing at least one carbon-carbon double bond. And what are alkynes? Alkynes must contain at least one carbon-carbon triple bond. So even though there is a carbon-carbon single bond, here also in this compound there is at least one carbon-carbon triple bond in the compound. Okay. So these are alkynes. Yes. Okay. So from this part of classification, we can very well define alkenes, alkenes and alkynes. You have to start from the word alkenes and you have to climb the stairs like this. Okay. So start from alkenes. Alkenes are saturated, aliphatic hydrocarbons containing carbon-carbon single bond. Alkenes are saturated aliphatic hydrocarbons containing carbon-carbon single bond. Okay, you have to climb the classification ladder. Okay, the first step above alkenes is saturated. The next step is aliphatic, and the third step is, and the first The foremost step is hydrocarbons. Okay, so alkanes are saturated aliphatic hydrocarbons containing carbon-carbon single bond. Containing carbon-carbon single bond. In a similar way, you can also classify, you can also define alkenes. Alkenes are unsaturated aliphatic hydrocarbons. Alkenes are unsaturated aliphatic hydrocarbons containing at least one carbon-carbon double bond. Containing at least one carbon-carbon double bond. There will be large number of carbon-carbon single bonds in alkenes, but there should be at least one carbon-carbon double bond. Containing at least one carbon-carbon double bond. Yes. Now, how will you define alkynes in a similar way? Alkynes are unsaturated aliphatic hydrocarbons. Line the steps, okay? Alkynes are unsaturated aliphatic hydrocarbons containing at least one carbon-carbon triple bond. At least one carbon-carbon triple bond. Are you getting this? Are you getting this? Yes? So these are the different types of aliphatic compounds. Aliphatic as in open chain compounds. Okay, now let us quickly go to the classification part of closed chain compounds. That is alicyclic compound. Now, there are different ways in which you can classify alicyclic compounds. Okay, or cyclic compounds. We will learn one such simple method. In different books, you will find different ways in which this part is classified. Okay, this alicyclic part. Let us try to classify it. There are two broad classifications, homocyclic and heterocyclic. Now, what do you mean by homocyclic? Homocyclic are the ones which do not contain heteroatoms in the cycle. As in, they will only contain carbon atoms in the chain. Okay, the homocyclic compounds are the cyclic compounds which will contain only carbon atoms as the member, as the corners of the, as the cyclic structure, as the corners of the cyclic structure. Here the cyclic structure is a pentagon. At every corner of the cyclic structure, there is only carbon atom. Heterocyclic are the ones which will contain at least one heteroatom as the member of the cyclic compound. As the member of the cyclic compound. Heterocyclic compounds are the ones in which there will be at least one heteroatom. For example, here oxygen is the heteroatom which is a part of the cyclic ring. Okay, is this clear? Now this is the broad classification of cyclic compound. There are further more classification arms in this. For example, homocyclic can further be, now both of these can further be saturated or unsaturated. Now we very well know what saturated and unsaturated means. Okay, now in unsaturated, we will further come across aromatic and non-aromatic compounds. Okay, this aromatic compounds we are going to study it as a separate part of hydrocarbons, aromatic and non-aromatic. In aromatic, further there are two types, benzenoid and non-benzenoid. I am unable to write it here. Benzenoid and non-benzenoid. It's benzenoid. Benzenoid means benzene ring containing compounds. I'll write it here. Benzenoid and non-benzenoid. Okay. Yes. So this is the broad classification or basic classification of cyclic compounds. Cyclic compounds are broadly of two types, homocyclic and heterocyclic. Homocyclic compounds are the ones which contain only carbon atom in the ring as the part of the ring. There can be heteroatom outside the ring. like if I put OH here, the heteroatom is not a direct member of the ring. It is outside the ring. Yes. Heterocyclic compounds are the ones in which at least one heteroatom becomes a part of the cyclic ring. Now both of these are further of two types, saturated and unsaturated. And in unsaturated, there are further two types, aromatic, non-aromatic. Aromatic compound, which is a major, very big branch of cyclic compounds, very big area of cyclic compound. Aromatic compounds are further classified as benzenoid and non-benzenoid. Okay. Now, as I have told you, there are different ways of classification. Left-hand side part remains the same, but there are different ways in which you can classify cyclic compound, because cyclic compound is again a major part of hydrocarbons. Yes. So this is how I classify it basically. And this is a foolproof way of classifying hydrocarbons. Yes. The major part that we are going to focus in this chapter of hydrocarbons would be alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, and aromatic compounds. Okay, so these are the four major parts that we are going to focus when we study the chapter hydrocarbons. Okay, I'll see you again in the next part, wherein we'll start with carbon atom, its electronic configuration, the way in which it forms 4 bonds around it, that is bond formation around carbon atom in alkanes, alkenes, alkynes basically. And then we'll proceed with alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, and aromatic compounds. Okay, till then keep studying, and please subscribe to my channel if you have liked the video. Okay, keep studying, keep watching videos.